Hello everyone and welcome, Arcblight here, and in this video I want to talk about Diablo 2 Resurrected. So growing up, the first online game that I got super addicted to was actually Diablo 2. I played Diablo 1 a little bit off and on, but Diablo 2 is where the real addiction took hold. Hopping on, playing with other people, figuring out what the best builds for each class were, doing a lot of trading, a lot of Stone Rings of Jordan, whether it be getting my hands on an Ice Blink, Schaefer's Hammer, Wind Force Bow, so on. I was obsessed. I remember divvying up time between me and my brother being able to play since we only had one computer on dial-up internet. It was awesome. This was also one of the only games that I bought like 10 copies of so that I could always play with other friends, or we would lose a CD key or something along the way. I spent so much time and so much money on this game. So getting access into Diablo 2 Resurrected was absolutely amazing. Hopping in, playing with a couple friends. It was a fantastic experience. It brought back so much nostalgic memories. It's insane. Just watching the opening cinema being redone in the new graphics, but with like the same voices and everything, it felt new, but it also felt familiar.
So, Marius, at last I find you. Tyrael.
It was just breathtaking. I'm basically speechless with how good it was to see and experience. So playing through, I love that you can press the G button on PC and it will swap between the old graphics and the new graphics, so you can actually see how much better the game really looks now compared to how it used to look. And anytime, just for the nostalgic feel as well, just hitting the button and seeing and playing for a little bit with the old graphics and everything is really, really cool. I definitely appreciate that. So starting off, I picked a paladin to play with my friends just so I could give auras to all of them, kind of benefit the team and whatnot. So I haven't played the other classes as of yet, but I plan to, especially when the full game comes out and we have access to the assassin and the necromancer. Overall, the experience was really good, having some new quality of life improvements such as auto picking up gold and having like the shared stash is really, really awesome. Seeing how everything's updated, I kind of have some love and hate aspects to the game. The nostalgic part of me wants the game to be pretty much exactly how it used to be, but then there's a part of me who's evolved and I've played other games that have more in-depth options or quality of life improvements and so on. So there's some things such as your skills. I'm so used to having an action bar from playing like Path of Exile or Wolcen or Torchlight 3, and it goes on and on and on. So not having an action bar is a little weird, especially when you can plug in a controller and you get to have yourself an action bar. And playing like that feels very different, but it also feels really easy, really simple to do. And when you switch back to a mouse and keyboard and you don't have that action bar, it's a bit of a bummer. I wish they would have made it so the mouse and keyboard also has at least an option, so you could choose to have an action bar or choose not to if you want to have that core classic feeling. But I still totally wish we had an action bar. Maybe we'll get one later on down the road. Who knows? Everything else, I like the skill reset option. Love it. Just sucks that I did it really early on and you only can do it once. So now I know. And going forward, I'll make sure to only do the skill reset when I'm really ready to do that. Overall, going through, all of the quests are the same. All the locations are the same. Obviously randomly generated, but everything feels, even with new graphics, it feels like the same places, the same memories, the same quests, everything. So I definitely can't complain with that. Even going and fighting the bosses, like getting the same items and knowing like old strategies that work, they still work. So all of that just feels absolutely amazing. Getting the runes and making rune word weapons and everything like that is awesome. Getting the cube and doing cube recipes is really, really cool. Getting your chip gems and upgrading them into flawed gems and so on. All of that stuff is absolutely amazing. I'm definitely bummed that I could only do the first 2 acts, but it just makes me that much more excited for when the game actually comes out. I'm still kind of hoping that there's some quality of life changes, but if they don't come, I guess I can't be that upset about it because, I mean, it's a classic rendition of the game. So all it's supposed to have is basically new graphics and a couple tweaks here and there. But other than that, I mean, even logging in and seeing the same loading screens was just awesome. I love little things like that. Going into multiplayer and actually seeing the lobby, even the gem that you can click on in the chat that seems to do nothing. And when you're joining a game, you get to scroll through a list of all the games and the titles and everything. It just felt the same. It felt really, really good. One major issue I had with it, though, was the optimization doesn't seem to be that great. I don't have the greatest graphics card in the world, but I still thought my game should have been running a lot smoother than that. Even dropping it down to medium settings, I was lagging a lot. My OBS was having encoding errors, so if you see any of that in the gameplay, that would be why. Everybody else that was playing in my party had the same issues as well, so I'm hoping it's not just us three and that it's actually a bigger issue so that they'll address it. So when the game comes out, hopefully we won't have that issue going on. Because if that doesn't get fixed, that would be the only big thing I can see that would really hold back the game, is having all the lag, the rubber banding back and forth. Almost gave kind of like this motion sickness type of feeling. So hopefully they'll get that resolved, but we'll see how it goes. And yeah, this was just my brief overview of how excited and how impressed I was with Diablo 2 Resurrected. I can't wait for the full release. I'm going to put a lot of time into this game just like I did in the past. And yeah, hopefully I'll be able to see more people out there in Sanctuary. And as always, everybody, thanks for watching.